Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel Wisdom Circle. I'm Monica Bay, also known as the Divine Mother, and I'm always here to bring you truth here at Mystic Temple. Let's talk about things. Okay, so we have every day on the channel Wisdom Circle, I channel the cosmic collective consciousness and tells me what to tell you guys. And so they choose the topic and everything. So for anyone who's new, but what we're going to talk about today is loneliness. Okay, loneliness is an epidemic right now that's going on in the world, and it's needless. So let's talk about it. Okay, why is loneliness needless? First of all, you have lots of people around you, but you still feel lonely. That is a perspective issue. That is a attachment issue. So we're gonna tap into all of that and go through it. So when people are feeling lonely, first of all, a lot of times, because we are a very connected world, and why is this an epidemic right now? Because people are feeling lonely regardless of who is around them, and a lot of people are around them. Let me just check a comment here. C. Clark says, Cheryl, hey, says loneliness is a sad epidemic. Yes, that too many people are suffering through. Exactly. And so why are they suffering through this? Because we're connected, but we're not really connecting. Okay. We are connected, but we're not really connecting with one another anymore because we have social media and we think that, oh, we know what's going on in each other's lives. We know what's going on and blah, blah, blah. But all we're seeing is just a facade, a mask of whatever people are posting. And then your people are also texting more than talking and so on and so forth. There's a lot of reasons why. And we don't have to get into all of those in super detail, but the message today is really about the reality that you need to um, get out of your cave and start connecting with other people again. And I want to address one thing because when I say that to people, sometimes, a lot of times, the response that I get back is, "Nah, I don't want to connect with people. I don't want to connect with people." Because people are damaged also because of their past experiences with other human beings. Okay. So I'm going to say it very clearly. Yes, human beings can definitely suck sometimes. Okay. Let's talk about that. Human beings can be nasty. Human beings can be horrible. They can be disgusting, but human beings can also be amazing. Human beings can also be very helpful. Human beings can also be loving. Human beings can also be compassionate and nourishing and all of those things and loyal. And so it really depends on the way you see the world. And that's why I started with saying it's a perspective issue because it really depends on how you see the world. But the problem is if you've been hurt in the past by other people, and I know there's a lot of people, and some of you watching right now, that are people who don't like other people generally, right? And that is because, and that's a common thing. That's because of your past experiences. But here's the thing: past experiences do not dictate future reality, nor do they dictate the current reality. Only if you allow them to. Only if you are the one who's projecting that energy forward, because people can definitely be sucky. Okay, they can be jerks. But that doesn't mean everyone is, and that doesn't mean every time you encounter with someone, every time you decide to trust someone, every time you decide to get close to someone, that is going to happen. If that is a pattern that's happening in your life, it's important that you start to look at that, not in a blaming way, not in, oh, it's everyone else, it's never me. No, you need to look. If that is a pattern that's going on in your life, patterns need to be examined. Anytime you have a pattern of any kind that is happening, especially ones that you don't like, it's important that you examine them and see why. I'm going to read another comment. C. Clark says, everything that we want and need in life still depends on another human being. Exactly, exactly. So we have to look for the good ones despite past letdowns. Exactly. And so that's exactly what I'm saying here is that there are wonderful, wonderful people all around you. You have to allow them to connect. Okay. You have to allow yourself to connect. A lot of times people self sabotage their relationships because of past hurt and fear and things like that. Fear of being let down, fear of being betrayed, fear of being rejected, all of these things. But what do I always tell you that fear is rooted in? Fear is rooted in a lack of self trust. If you trust yourself, then there's nothing to fear. Why do I say that? Because if you trust yourself, meaning you trust your path, you trust your ability to maneuver situations, you trust your strength, your inner strength, you trust your ability to pivot and do whatever needs to be done in order to get where you need to go. If you trust yourself to do that, then it doesn't matter who betrays you. It doesn't matter what anyone's intentions are. It doesn't matter what anyone's thinking. None of that matters if you trust yourself, because these other people are these other people. Everyone's on their own path, but you are on your path. And if you trust yourself to be able to maneuver a situation, then anybody can do anything. It doesn't matter. All you just you know what to do about it. Period. And in the at the end of the day, you'll be fine. And you can also see in your past, in any kind of situation that you've been in with other people, whatever you are afraid of right now, um, with letting letting your guard down and blah blah blah. Anytime you did that and someone did something, did you end up okay afterwards? Did you? Are you still here? You're watching this. So unless you're watching this from another realm, you're here. You made it, okay? So that's the self-trust that I'm talking about. Being able to trust yourself. Trust yourself to get through anything. Any boulder can be in your way, and that boulder can be a person, that boulder can be, a situation, whatever. Anything can be in your way, but as long as you trust yourself, because you are an intelligent being, you're not stupid, you're not just going to sit there and do nothing, right? You're not just going to allow everything to happen to you. And if you are, then that's a separate problem, okay? But if you trust yourself to know that you know what to do, and that you are an intelligent being, and everything's going to be fine, it doesn't matter what other people are doing. So it's important that all these past pains that you have with other people, with human beings, that have hurt you. I know a lot of people that literally prefer animals over human beings because they've been hurt too much by human beings. Again, you're looking at the wrong humans, and you are attracting the wrong humans, and your perspective and your expectation is with those wrong humans. Okay? So you have to let go. And this is easier said than done, but it's definitely possible. And it's definitely possible in one day. It doesn't even have to be a long journey. But you have to let go of those past hurts, those past pains. You have to let go of the attachment to those things. The attachment to those things, it's the past pain that you attach to your future and current reality. That's the attachment that needs to be let go of. That cord needs to be cut. So this past pain, you're tying to your future and your current reality, assuming that because people did this, they're going to do this now. And then remember, your expectation actually shapes your human experience and your current reality and your future reality. So if you expect people to be bad people, one, you're going to attract those bad people because those are your expectations. That is the reality that you're setting forth. In when you expect something, what you're telling the universe is that this is the reality that I want. Your expectations are your desires. So when you're thinking in your mind, I expect this to happen, you are telling the universe and you are telling the quantum field that this is the reality I'm expecting. This is the reality I'm putting forth. This is the reality that we are putting in motion right now. Okay, because what you desire, you create. So as long as your expectations are that, you're only going to get more of that. So this is why it's very important not to have negative expectations and not to allow those past hurts to affect your current situation. Good morning, everyone. So so you have to separate. You have to separate those past pains with the current now. And how to do that is simply cut the cords. And you can, and like I said, the cord is here. So for those of you who are on the podcast, let me verbalize it. Those of you who are listening on the podcast, the cords are in your mind. The cords are in your heart. Okay. Also in your root chakra. You need to cut the cords between the past and now, those past pains and hurt, right? Cut the cords. and literally cut them. Like it's just a chopping thing. Understand your mind is so powerful that when you decide something is gone, it's gone. When you decide it with fervence, you have to decide it with a strength and a force behind it, and a dedication to that decision. So when you do that, the energy is gone. It's really that simple. And that's why I said this doesn't have to be a long journey. Oh, I have to get over that. I have to. No, you can literally cut the cords, be done with the effects of that situation today. Okay? So whatever it is that you are still holding on to, whatever it is that you from other people that you are still holding on to, grudges, uh, negativity. Understand that when you hold a grudge against someone, that is an attachment. Know that that is an attachment, and it's not necessarily about forgiveness. And you have to forgive the other person, because I have a whole talk on that. But when you for to forgive is a verb, and that verb has to have a subject. That subject is the other person usually. And so forgiveness is really, when you think of it in that way, and the way we think of forgiveness, it makes it about the other person. Don't make it about the other person. It's really about letting go of that energy living rent free in your body. Okay? In your mind, in your spirit. That's what it is. You need to let go of that energy, and you can forgive them or not forgive them, it doesn't matter. But you let go of that energy, and that's the point. And then you're no longer carrying that baggage. And that makes it about you, because that's what it's really about. Because that person probably went on and did their own thing. They're probably not even thinking about you. It doesn't matter. The other person doesn't matter. It's about you and you carrying that. You holding a grudge against someone doesn't help you at all. It doesn't harm them, and it doesn't help you. Okay. So so at the end of the day, it's pointless. And what you're doing is you're just weighing yourself down, weighing yourself down, weighing yourself down. And now, subconsciously, your reactions and responses to situations are because of that past pain. And you have to uproot that pain. So not only do you need to cut the cords, but you need to uproot the energy of that situation, of the trauma. Okay, because anytime, I want to be very clear about this too. Anytime that you are hurt by someone, anytime you are betrayed by someone, anytime that you get angry at someone, that's trauma. It's either a micro trauma or it's a macro trauma, but it's trauma. So know that. Don't think that, oh, I'm no, I just got mad at this person and blah blah blah, and I just, that was a horrible situation, but I'm okay. That you experienced trauma. So do not diminish, and yeah, do not diminish your trauma experiences. Once you experience any kind of trauma, it's important that you go within and uproot it. You uproot it and you get rid of it. Why? Because if you don't, it's going to build up over time. It's going to affect you emotionally. It's going to affect you mentally. It's going to affect your life in every direction. It's going to affect you spiritually. It's going to cause you to self sabotage. It's going to sometimes cause you to make bad decisions and go down bad roads. And you're not aware if you're not aware. So this is why being mindful of your emotions, being mindful of your thoughts, being mindful of the energy that's going on inside of your body is very important. Because if you're not mindful about these things and you're not aware that you have all this trauma building up, and we tend to dismiss the negative things that happen in our lives, and especially if someone betrays you, guaranteed that is trauma. You have experienced trauma. And even if you feel like, oh no, I just bounced right back. No, you didn't. You think you bounced right back. If you didn't deal with the actual trauma, it's still in there, and it's going to come up and rear its ugly head at some point in time. And usually, from my experience in healing people and just my observations of trauma and the effects of trauma, is that usually major traumas like macro traumas will begin to affect you 2 years later. For some reason, it's that 2 year mark, about 2 years later. Because when people come to me and they're having all these crazy issues, and I look inside of them, I always am able to get to the root of whatever the issue is in just a few seconds. And I see that root, and a lot of times it's trauma. And I say, okay, what happened 2 years ago? What big traumatic thing happened 2 years ago? And there's always something right there. not just a small thing, but a big thing. And those things start to affect, and 2 years later, you have no idea because it's been 2 years. So you're not relating what's happening now to what happened 2 years ago. But that's the rule. Sometimes it's 3 years, but in that bracket, it's more than not, it's 2 years. And I've seen it sometimes be like 3 years, but that's usually when it starts to rear its ugly head. And I've noticed that for myself too. Any kind of trauma that I've received, I noticed that when I look at the timeline, I'm like, yes, that's when that started. Yep, that happened 2 years ago. Okay. so so know that it takes time for those things to build up. This is why you cleanse yourself quickly whenever you're experiencing trauma. So if you are having a bad day and something crazy is happening, and especially when it has to do with another person, we are more easily traumatized by other people than just by a situation by itself. Why? Because when other people do things to us, it hurts our ego. And the ego creates a lot of trauma. Without the ego, we would not be traumatized. Trauma couldn't exist without the ego. So when other people betray us, other people do something to us, psychologically and subconsciously, and from our ego, it says, "Oh, we're not worth anything," or it depends on whatever the trauma is, but like it speaks to our worthiness, and it makes us feel a certain way, and then that trauma roots itself. Okay, so anytime you feel that way, or any kind of thing with another person that you feel like something was done to you and so on and so forth, it's important that you pause. Don't just pick up and move on and just be like, well, screw that person, blah, blah, blah. You can say screw that person. You don't have to be friends with that person anymore or talk to that person anymore. That's fine. Because again, it's not about that person, it's about you. You need to make sure you're okay. You need to make sure that you uproot everything. Okay. You clear it out, balance your chakras, and I have some meditations here in the in the pod, I have on the podcast, also on the Mystic Temple podcast, also in Mystic Circle TV, and also on YouTube. There are tons of meditations that I've done that help you heal, that help you uproot negative energy. There's shamanic journeys, there's meditations. They're very, very effective. The meditations I do are always energy meditations. They're not just kind of relaxing, mindfulness meditations. They are very mindful and they are very relaxing as well. But I like to get things done. So all the meditations I do are always doing something. They're having an effect. The point of the meditation is to have an energetic effect on the body and the spirit. And so healing is very important. So healing from those things will help you not have to carry them. And then 2 years from now, you're not a hot mess, wondering why you're a hot mess. Because that's what happens. You become a hot mess. And so I like to do an analogy of a t-shirt. And my students know this analogy very well because I use it a lot. But imagine a white t-shirt. If you were wearing a white t-shirt, however old you are right now, if you were wearing a white t-shirt, we'll just say for 20 years, and you never washed it, how nasty and ratchet would that white t-shirt be? And funky and stinky and just dirty. How nasty would that white t-shirt would be if you were walking around the earth for 20 years wearing the same white t-shirt, never washing it? That is your energy system. If you don't cleanse it, if you don't uproot energy and work on, yes, right, yuck, if you don't work on that energy, and so why should you be doing these things? Because you don't want that funky white t-shirt. If you simply cleanse yourself on a daily basis, because life is going to life, people are going to people. So you have all these micro traumas happening all the time that you're unaware of. If you simply cleanse yourself on just stinking, I'm laughing at the comments. If you just simply cleanse yourself on a daily basis or even weekly, then you're it's a reset. You get a reset. There's no stuff built up. And in that analogy with the nasty, sooty white t-shirt, stinky white t-shirt over 20 years never being washed, again, that's every day. Those are micro traumas. Those micro traumas are the dirt that ends up on that t-shirt, and it builds up and builds up and builds up. But if you had that same t-shirt, not that you would keep the same t-shirt for 20 years, but I'm just saying, just stay with me. So if you had that same t-shirt and you washed it every day or you washed it once a week, it wouldn't build up and get nasty and dirty like that. And that, again, that's our energy system. So if you simply cleanse your energy system. It presses a reset button. And then there's no chance for anything to build up. So this is why it's so important for you to work on your energy system, and that's why it's important for you to be mindful of what's going on inside of you. But if you don't ask the right questions, you don't get the right answers. So anytime you have any kind of micro trauma or macro trauma, any kind of disappointment, any kind of betrayal, any kind of altercation or conflict with another person, a lot of times those are creating either micro or macro traumas. And you have to ask yourself, once you're able to calm down and get yourself together by yourself, go within and see what's going on. Ask critical questions. How did this really affect me emotionally? And be honest with yourself. Don't try to be all hard and be like, I wasn't affected emotionally. Yes, you were. I don't care who you were. I don't care who you are and how hard you think you are. Okay. Everyone is affected emotionally. If you're human, you're affected emotionally. Okay. So you have to go within and work on that. And this is also part of self mastery. When you start to master yourself, you are less affected emotionally. But naturally, human beings are very emotionally affected by everything. Okay. So when you work towards self mastery, and part of the beginnings of self mastery is awareness. And that's why I'm telling you to go within and see what's really going on inside of you. And then once you determine that, then you can release it. And so there's a black smoke exercise that I give people, and I believe I have that. I don't know if I have that on YouTube or any of the free platforms, but either way, there's meditations for that that I definitely have. So take one of those meditations that's releasing negative energy and simply release the negative energy. It's actually not hard and it's really really fast. So again, when people say that you have to go on these long healing journeys, you really don't. You really don't. Those there are many ways, and they are shortcuts, but they're not really shortcuts. They're just understanding your power and releasing it, knowing that when you command something to leave, it leaves. When you command something to be, it is. That's it. Like that's your power. So it's not like a shortcut where you're going to get a lesser result or something like that. No, not at all. And I take it from me, who I'm a metaphysical teacher, and I've been teaching people for you know I don't even know how many years at this point, 15 years maybe, and everyone that I teach how to do this, they do it very quickly and very well. Okay. There's no need for long, drawn out healing journeys when it comes to releasing energy and stuff like that. There may be some things that take more time in terms of understanding in your consciousness and mindset kind of things. Yes, but in terms of releasing energy and healing from trauma, that can be done in one day. It really can. And I heal people all the time in one day. Then it doesn't come back. It doesn't come back. So know that. And I want you to understand your power to do that. Like I said earlier, when you decide something is gone, it is. When you release something, when you command something, I'll put it that way very clearly because it needs to be commanded. When you command something to be gone. Oh, thank you. Elise said Monica is the truth. Thank you. When you command something to be gone, it is. When you will something to be, it is. That's your power. That is your power. That is what the Book of Rashida teaches. That is what I've been teaching. That's what the Cosmic Collective Consciousness has been teaching. That is what you know to be true deep within you because your soul knows this. Your soul knows your power. So when you understand that, you know, back to the topic of today, you know that you don't need to carry forward the past trauma of dealing with other human beings into your present and your future relationships and your present and your future situations. Because what you're doing is you're blocking your blessings. So you may feel lonely in this world with tons of people around you, and that's only because you're building walls. If you build a cave for yourself with monsters in that cave, with darkness in that cave, meanwhile the sun is shining outside, everybody's frolicking, skipping along with rainbows, and you're over here just, oh, the world sucks. Like that's a perspective issue. And that perspective is rooted in trauma. That perspective is rooted in past experiences. And so understand and begin to deprogram your mind from associating the past with the present and the future. because that is where you get in trouble. Associating the past with the present and the future. The past is the past. It happened and it was what it was and whatever, whatever it was. But you have the opportunity in every moment of every day. You have the opportunity to create that reality, to create what is happening right now. And again, that doesn't mean you're in control of every single person, but what did I say earlier? Self trust. It doesn't matter what these people are doing. It does not matter. What matters is you trust yourself, because if I'm on a journey and there's all kinds of things, okay, if it hailstorms, okay, I know what to do in a hailstorm. Okay, if it rains, I know what to do if it rains. All right, maybe I got to go find some shelter. Maybe I need to bring an umbrella. Whatever it is, like these things happen, and you just respond, and you adapt to them. That's power. That is your power. That is self trust, knowing that you can do that. And again, for anyone who has a hard time trusting themselves, just go back to your own story. If you look at your own story, you will see there are many, many instances where something has happened. You thought that it was going to be the end of the world. You thought that you weren't going to be able to get out of it. But guess what? You did, because that's your power. That's your strength. You're not stupid. You're not powerless. Okay. Even when you feel like you are, you're not. And you can show yourself this time. You have shown yourself this time and time again. So act like it. Act like it. You have a plethora of people around you that are already that already have resources that you need. I always say you have everything you need all the time. You have people around you that have the that are willing to give you uh, honor, respect, help, an ear, advice, of reaching out a hand, whatever. But if you don't allow that to happen, then you don't build those types of relationships. If you have those expectations of the past equals the present and the future, then you don't open yourself up for more. And so, what if someone betrays you? And I say that, and people are like, huh? What do you mean, so what? So what? I'm saying it right now. Hold on. Message. Okay. So what if someone betrays you? Are you going to be able to get up? Is that going to be the end of the world? No, that's on them. That's on them. Okay. Are you going to heal from that? Yes, because I'm telling you exactly how to right now. Rewind this. Okay. Yes, you're fine. It's not the end of the world. It's really not. We live in a large world, but guess what? It is both ugly and beautiful. But if you focus on the ugly, that's exactly what you'll get. You'll just get more and more and more of ugly. If you focus on the beauty, you will get more and more of the beauty. And that is really what we're here for. The ugly is a distraction. The beauty is truth. That's what we're here for. So ignore all the negativity of other people and focus on attracting the right people. The problem is when you have been hurt in the past, your focus is on those negative people. And like I said, what you focus on, you create. So you're only attracting more of those people because that's your expectation and that's what you're setting in the quantum field. So make sure that I mean, there was a lot of messages said today, a lot of messages said, but make sure that one, I'm going to sum it all up, detach. Detach your past experiences from your present and your future expectations. Cord cutting, okay? Also, detach your past experiences and the trauma to your mind, your heart, and your root chakra, okay? And you may have some other cords in your aura and in other chakras and all kinds of things and in your meridians, but you can tune into that, find them, and cut them and release the negative energy. That's what's important. Releasing all of this is important, but releasing the negative energy. If you cut cords and you don't release that negative energy, then those cords can grow back easily. It's important that you release the negative energy that's inside of you, the trauma, the attachment to negative experiences, the the resentment that you have towards another person. It's important that you uproot that because all that's doing is hurting you. Once you get rid of that, then you're in the analogy I gave earlier, your white t-shirt is clean. Then you've hit the reset button. Now you can move forward. Now you can move forward in freedom. And that's what we're all about in Mystic Temple is freedom. Freedom for your mind, freedom for your soul, freedom for your spiritual body, everything. Freedom. We're not caging ourselves in. We don't put ourselves in boxes. We're not caging ourselves in. We're not walling ourselves off because of pain and fear. Okay? We're building ourselves up. And when you are able to walk in freedom, then you are able to fully embrace your life. You are able to fully embrace your path. Because as long as you have walls around you, walls go both ways. People can't get in, but guess what? You can't get out. And when you can't get out, you're in a prison of your own energy. And you're also not able to express yourself. You're not able to really, truly meet those soul contracts that you came here with. Those soul contracts with other people, because you're rejecting those contracts. You're not holding up your end of the bargain. You're rejecting those contracts because you're rejecting other people. You're rejecting experience. And we are here to experience the human experience. So stop rejecting experience. Experience and freedom is what we're here for. We are here to experience the human experience with freedom. Okay? And freedom to experience it as it is. And that experience is the good, bad, and the ugly. Okay? It's not all rainbows and lollipops, okay? And sunshine. The human experience does include yin and yang. And that's okay. You're not going to get away from it, okay? You can limit your suffering, but you're not going to get away from yin and yang in life. That's balance, that's duality. But if you focus more on the light, then you would get more light. You focus more on the darkness, you would get more darkness. So I said what I said, and that's all I have to say for today. All right, everyone. Thank you all for joining today. I hope that message really hit. We got a couple gut punches there, I'm sure. I see you guys talking about I'm talking to you right now, right? So I hope you guys really, really marinate in that, okay? Marinate in that. Right. Dominic said you have to learn to take the bitter with the sweet. Exactly. Exactly. Absolutely. So, everyone, I will see you guys tomorrow on the channel Wisdom Circle. We will be back same time tomorrow. And I will end this in the divine language, which essentially means peace be unto you. Zor Kunti. And I'll see you next time. Wait for the song.
I used to carry these burdens that weighed me down, but I've discovered a brand new sound. From here on out, I'm leaving it behind. Feel the freedom, let the old me unwind. Yeah, I release, I let it go. All that no longer serves me, I'm no longer whole. I release, I set it free. Watch me rise, I embrace the new me. I release, I let it go. I release, I set it free. Watch me rise, I embrace the new me. I release, I let it go.